And the first person I saw when I checked aboard was a chief petty officer. And he was so in charge that I said, that's what I want to be when I finally get to be something in the Navy. My name's Rudy Shappee. I went through boot camp here in San Diego in 1957. And sure enough, after over a 20-year career, I did become a chief petty officer and retired from the Navy in 1976 as a chief warrant officer. So that first vision, that first person, really drove me for my entire 20-year career. It was a great experience. They sent me here to San Diego. The most important thing about naval training is the transformation from the individual to a member of a team and a group that is more important than the self. Everything that happens to you afterwards. That's why they shave your hair and get rid of all that individual coiffure. They make you do the same thing. They make you wear the same uniform so that you begin to identify with the unit. When you learn to march, you learn to march. Everyone is on the right foot, left foot. Everyone is looking the right way, turning the right way, so that it's the unit that is what is important, because that's what you are now a part of. That's so important. Many of us say that military training should be universal because it teaches you to be a member of a team. There's a number of impressions I have about this place, this Naval Training Center. The first day, when you walked through the gate and it had the big sign over the top telling you where you were, you knew that when you passed through that, things were going to be changing for you. Another impression is quarantine. You were over there until you were worthy, until you were well, until you'd learned enough to come over here where there were sailors in training. You see, NTC wasn't just about recruits. It was also a training center for people who had graduated from recruit training and were getting their fleet training, and having that respect for coming across from quarantine to this place to now be with the big kids, to be with the real sailors. Another big thing was coming to this building. Every recruit company would at one time or another march in a grand parade. They would have this beautiful grand parade with music, martial music, and your company would come up and be reviewed by the commanding officer of the station and his officers with their uniforms and their medals and, well, the ribbons and so on. And you would come in and you would be part of the flag raising ceremony in the morning. And that great flag would go up. And then the officers would come out and meet some of the people in your company and shake their hands. You had gone through adolescence when you went through that program. Your adolescence was behind you. Now you were becoming a real sailor. My company commander was a chief petty officer, Mr. Joe Acom. And this was his last cruise. He was retiring. And he had left his uniform jacket on the back of a chair in the office. And I thought, I'm a chief petty officer now, so I'm gonna go get that jacket and put it on, and I'm gonna really be something. So I'm parading around, I'm wearing his jacket, I'm yucking it up, being the comedian that I sometimes am, and I got caught. And they took me to this command center where all these chiefs and officers were. And they said, what are you doing in that uniform? And I said, well, I just put it on because I'm so glad that I'm graduating and everything. He says, you know you're impersonating a chief petty officer. You know how illegal that, you know what trouble you're in. So I'm standing there quivering and everything, not the big graduate that I thought I was. And he says, all right, what should we do with this guy? So I said, you see that bell out there, this big brass bell? I want your nose on that bell until I tell you to take it off. And by now it's late October, so it's kind of chilly out. So there I am, graduation night, with my nose on this damn bell, until they finally came out and said, okay, now do you understand what requirements are about? You know you can't do that? Yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, chief, yes, chief. All right, get out of here. That was my grand exit from boot camp.